Let's be honest. If you've ever run a direct mail campaign,
Right.
you know that feeling. Um, it's like your message just vanishes into thin air sometimes.
A bit of a black hole, yeah.
Totally. You sign off on the design, you handle the postage, and then crickets. You're left wondering, did it actually mail? When?
Yeah.
Did it land where it was supposed to? That lack of insight is, well, it's really frustrating.
Oh, absolutely. That frustration is something we hear about constantly. For decades, direct mail has kind of operated with this layer of opacity that you just wouldn't see or accept in digital marketing.
Exactly. You get used to real-time dashboards, constant updates online. Direct mail hasn't always kept pace with that clarity.
It hasn't.
But what if that's changing? Today, we're doing a deep dive into how technology is actually stepping up to sort of reimagine direct mail management,
Yeah.
bringing some much-needed transparency to the table.
And we're focusing specifically on Wolverine Solutions Group.
We are. They're a company that's been a really significant name in direct mail for, well, a long time. We're talking 47 years of experience.
47 years.
Yeah.
That's substantial in this
It
industry.
really is. And the solutions they're developing, which we've looked at in the materials, they really point to a deep grasp of the industry's, pain points, plus a serious commitment to innovating.
That kind of history, that longevity, it says a lot, doesn't it? Surviving and thriving for nearly 5 decades suggests they really know how to adapt and meet client needs.
You'd have to, right?
Hmm.
And it seems like Wolverine Solutions Group has built a really strong reputation on that bedrock of experience.
It certainly seems that way from the solutions they offer.
Definitely. So our mission today is really to give you a solid overview, a comprehensive look at how tech can finally shed some light on direct mail, offer that visibility that control marketers have been wanting.
So if you're tired of that shot in the dark feeling with your mail,
Yeah, if you're nodding along right now, we're here to show you there's a different way and how a company with Wolverine's deep roots is really leading the way.
okay, so let's dig into that core problem first. The historical lack of visibility. What exactly made direct mail feel like that black box you mentioned?
Right, let's unpack that. The basic issue was just the scarcity of information once your mail piece was done. After you gave the thumbs up on the proof, well, updates were often slow or non-existent.
You were left guessing.
Pretty much. You might not know exactly when printing finished or, crucially, when it was actually handed off to the USPS,
Yeah.
or even get a reliable window for when it might start hitting mailboxes.
So you're flying blind, essentially, trying to piece things together yourself. Real-time info is just hard to get.
Very hard. And this wasn't just, annoying. It had real business consequences.
Absolutely. That lack of timely information hamstrung any kind of proactive campaign management.
How could it not? If you didn't know about a potential delay, say, in printing or mailing.
You couldn't do anything about it. You couldn't adjust expectations
Yeah.
or maybe tweak other parts of the campaign.
Exactly. And think about today's marketing world. Everything's multi-channel, right?
Right. Integrated campaigns are key.
So this opacity in direct mail, it created massive roadblocks. How are you supposed to sync up a follow-up email or a targeted social ad push if you have zero clue when the physical mail is actually arriving?
You end up with missed opportunities, a potentially really disjointed customer experience. Just not ideal.
Not at all. Which brings us to Wolverine Connect.
Okay, so this is Wolverine Solutions Group's own platform, their client-facing dashboard.
That's right. And it seems like it was built from the ground up specifically to tackle these exact visibility problems we've been talking about.
So what's the core idea? What makes it fundamentally different?
Think of it like having a real-time mission control for your direct mail. That's the vibe.
Okay, I like that.
It gives you immediate, like up-to-the-minute access to all the critical stages. We're talking live updates on proof approvals,
Okay.
real-time tracking of production milestones like printing and inserting,
Mm-hmm.
full end-to-end USPS delivery tracking using their intelligent mail barcodes.
Ah, the IMB data. Crucial.
Super crucial. And then comprehensive reporting, tying it all together, all through one supposedly user-friendly platform.
Okay, so it's not just dumping more data on you. It's about getting the right information when you actually need it.
Precisely.
So how does that practically empower marketers? What does it let them do differently?
It's really about regaining control. And maybe just as importantly, getting rid of that constant nagging uncertainty.
Right, the what-if questions.
Exactly. Instead of always chasing your provider for updates or just feeling totally in the dark, you can proactively see your campaign's progress.
So you can spot potential issues sooner.
Yes. Spot them, address them early, Make informed calls based on what's actually happening right now, not just reacting way after the fact when it's too late.
It fundamentally shifts direct mail from being this sort of passive send and pray channel.
Yeah, to being an actively managed, integrated part of your marketing.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, the ebook we reviewed goes into a lot of detail on the specific advantages of this kind of transparent tech. Let's walk through some of those key benefits. First up, enhanced visibility. What does that actually look like day to day?
Okay, enhanced visibility. Think of it like a clear window into the entire process. You can literally see where your mail piece is, right from the moment data processing starts,
Okay.
all the way through production, mailing, and right up to the point it's confirmed as delivered by the USPS.
And if something goes wrong, a delay.
You get notified
Yeah.
immediately through the platform. If there's a slight delay in printing, maybe a weather issue affecting mail induction, you know about it. It's like having that transparent pipeline you always wanted for your mail.
Got it. Clear view of the whole journey. And building right on that is the next benefit they list, strengthening client-provider trust. How does this openness help that relationship?
Well, it's pretty fundamental, isn't it? When you, as the client, have direct, open access to the operational data.
You're not just taking their word for it.
Exactly. You can see the progress yourself. That real-time insight, combined with hopefully proactive communication if issues do arise, it just naturally builds a stronger sense of trust, a partnership.
It moves beyond just a vendor transaction.
Right. It becomes a relationship built on, well, transparency and a shared goal.
Yeah.
Which is how it should be, especially with a partner like Wolverine with that long history. They're banking on that trust.
Makes sense. Another critical point mentioned is reducing errors through instant data verification. Errors in mail can be costly. How does the tech help minimize those?
Oh, hugely costly, both in dollars and, reputation.
For sure.
So Wolverine Connect gives you direct access to data verification tools. Think online proof review, but also live validation for things like address files, personalized elements.
Catching typos or bad addresses before printing.
Exactly. Catching those potential problems super early in the workflow, way before anything hits the press or the mail stream. It cuts down the risk of those expensive mistakes significantly. Higher accuracy, less waste.
Very important. The materials also talk about accelerating decision-making with live metrics. Why is getting that real-time performance data so vital now?
Speed matters, right? In marketing today, being able to react quickly based on actual data is a huge advantage.
Definitely.
So with real-time tracking of production status, mailing progress, delivery results, you're not waiting weeks for a post-campaign report to figure out what worked.
You can see trends emerging live.
Yes. And you can actually pivot your strategy midstream if needed. Like imagine you see really strong delivery rates popping up fast in a certain city.
Okay.
Maybe you decide right then to boost your digital follow-up, maybe some targeted ads in just that area to capitalize on the mail hitting homes. That's agility you just didn't have before.
That real-time connection between physical and digital is powerful, which leads nicely into the next point. Streamlining multi-channel integration. How does this help sync everything up?
It's all about that timing and coordination we touched on earlier.
Knowing when the mail arrives.
Precisely. When you have accurate data on delivery times, down to specific areas, you can perfectly synchronize your other channels. Emails hitting inboxes a day after the mail arrives.
SMS notifications, digital ads, reinforcing the message.
Exactly. It creates a much more seamless, cohesive experience for the customer. Instead of channels feeling disconnected, they work together. That synchronized approach, it can seriously lift response rates.
I can see that. Okay, next benefit. Optimizing mail piece tracking and delivery confirmation. How is this better than just knowing, say, a pallet of mail was sent?
It's about granularity, much, much deeper insight.
Okay.
By fully leveraging the USPS's Intelligent Mail Barcode, the IMB.
Right, the unique code on each piece.
Yes. Wolverine Connect lets you track individual mail pieces, or at least small batches, through the postal system. You're not just looking at the whole job. You can monitor delivery rates by region, by specific zip codes even.
Wow, okay. That's detailed.
It is. It gives you invaluable insight into when your message is actually reaching specific segments of your audience. This allows for much more precise timing for follow-ups and a way better understanding of delivery performance variations.
That level of tracking is impressive. What about customizable views? The ebook mentions tailoring the dashboard. Why is that helpful?
Because not everyone needs to see the same thing, right?
Yep.
Someone on the marketing team might be laser focused on delivery rates and response tracking integration points.
while someone in operations cares more about production speed and postage reconciliation.
Exactly. So customizable views let different users tailor their dashboard to show the metrics and data points that are most relevant to their job, their priorities for that specific campaign.
Makes it faster to get the info you need, improves efficiency.
And probably helps teams collaborate better too, because everyone can focus on their piece of the puzzle while still seeing the whole picture if they need to.
Good point. Now, moving beyond just tracking, the platform also talks about driving strategic campaign enhancements with analytics. What kind of deeper learning does this unlock?
Yeah, this is about moving from just data to actual intelligence, actionable insights.
Okay.
So beyond just showing you where the mail went and when, Wolverine Connect offers more detailed reporting. Analytics on things like overall delivery performance trends, production efficiency over time, even comparing how different versions or offers within a campaign perform.
So you can see what's really working.
Precisely. Identify the winners, pinpoint areas that need improvement, and make genuinely data-driven decisions to optimize your next campaign. It fuels that cycle of continuous improvement.
That's key for long-term success. Let's talk about improved regulatory compliance. That's a big one in many sectors. How does transparency help here?
Hugely important for finance, healthcare, insurance. Lots of industries.
Absolutely. Strict rules about communication records.
Right. So having this real-time visibility where every single step from proof, approval, data handling, production, mailing, right through to delivery confirmation is automatically logged and timestamped, that creates a clear, auditable trail.
Centralized documentation.
Exactly. Everything's in one place, easily accessible. It makes demonstrating compliance much simpler if you face an audit or need to answer inquiries. Takes a lot of the manual record-keeping burden away.
Peace of mind, really. Now, things don't always go perfectly. What about accelerated response to campaign issues? How does the system help when problems pop up?
Because you're not waiting for someone to maybe tell you there's a problem days later.
You see it happening in real time.
Or very close to it. The system flags exceptions or delays, maybe a production snag, maybe a postal service disruption in a certain area as they happen. You get alerted.
So you and the Wolverine team can jump on it immediately.
That's the idea. Engage right away, figure out what's going on, and take corrective action quickly to minimize the impact on the campaign schedule. Much smoother execution overall.
Faster problem solving. Makes sense. Teamwork is also crucial. How does this tech support collaboration across internal and external teams?
By essentially putting everyone on the same page,
Yeah.
looking at the same real-time information.
A single source of truth.
Exactly. It provides secure, permission-based access to all the relevant campaign info for everyone authorized, your internal marketing folks, maybe ops people, and the team at Wolverine Solutions Group.
Streamlines approvals, maybe? Less back and forth emails.
Should do. Better communication, faster approvals, everyone working from the latest data. It just fosters better coordination, which usually leads to better, more efficient campaign outcomes.
Efficiency is a good segue to the next point. Reducing manual reporting workloads. How does it tackle that administrative headache?
By automating a huge chunk of it. Think about the time teams spend chasing data, compiling spreadsheets, building reports.
It can be significant.
Totally. With real-time dashboards constantly updated that need to manually gather and format data largely disappears. Key metrics are just there.
So teams can focus more on strategy, analysis.
That's the goal. Freeing up valuable time and brain power for more strategic work instead of getting bogged down in repetitive reporting tasks.
That's a tangible benefit. What about growth? How does this support scalability and flexibility for growing programs?
Well, the underlying technology, the processes behind Wolverine Connect, they're designed explicitly to handle bigger volumes and more complex campaigns as your needs grow.
So you don't outgrow the system quickly.
Hopefully not. You should be able to maintain that same level of visibility and control even as your direct mail program expands, becomes more sophisticated, maybe uses more complex segmentation or personalization.
And it adapts to new strategies.
Seems so. The platform is designed to be adaptable, so you can incorporate new approaches or respond to market changes without needing a massive overhaul of how you manage your mail. That kind of flexibility is important.
Definitely. Okay, last specific benefit listed. Historic archives to support client retention and compliance requirements. Why hang on to all that old campaign data?
Well, we touched on compliance already for regulated industries. Having that accessible archive is often non-negotiable, mandatory even.
Right. Proof of past communications.
Yes. But it's also super valuable for other things. resolving customer service inquiries about mail they received months ago,
Ah, good point.
conducting internal reviews or audits, and maybe most strategically, analyzing past campaign performance in detail to really optimize future efforts. What worked last year, what didn't?
That historical context is gold.
It is. And Wolverine Connect apparently captures and securely stores all that key data proofs, production details, delivery confirmations automatically, giving you that long-term historical record.
It really sounds like Wolverine Connect represents a pretty major shift in managing direct mail, hitting a lot of those old frustration points head on with transparency.
Absolutely. I mean, the big picture here, the comprehensive overview, is that this kind of transparent technology, exemplified by Wolverine Connect, really does set a new standard, a new expectation maybe.
It directly tackles that lack of visibility, that lack of control that, let's face it, has bothered marketers about direct mail for a very long time.
It really has.
Mhm.
And knowing this kind of solution comes from a company like Wolverine Solutions Group with that, 47-year history and established reputation, that adds real weight to it. It's not some fly-by-night tech startup. It's grounded in deep industry experience.
That's a fair point. We've covered a whole spectrum of benefits today, the foundational stuff like better visibility and stronger trust,
Right.
through to really practical gains like fewer errors, quicker decisions, smoother multi-channel integration, much better tracking, easier compliance. The list goes on.
It does, and it all points towards a future where direct mail isn't this kind of opaque outlier, but a truly transparent, measurable, and fully integrated part of your marketing mix.
So for you listening, especially if you felt that frustration, that lack of clarity with your direct mail in the past,
Yeah.
just think about how this level of transparency could actually transform your own campaigns.
Yeah, how would having those real-time insights, that feeling of control, change things for you? Would it alleviate some of those old headaches?
And maybe here's a final thought to chew on. We focused today on how real-time data and these collaborative platforms are changing direct mail. A channel has been around forever.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe zoom out a little. Think more broadly about how these core principles, transparency, real-time access, collaboration, are becoming essential for success across all your marketing channels, not just mail.
That's a great point.
What does that rising expectation for visibility and control mean for your entire marketing strategy moving forward? Something to consider.